Hi, I wanted to make a video to show absolute beginners how to draw up their Zepbound or any other medication that you're withdrawing from a vial. So the first thing you want to do is make sure your hands are clean and your work surface is clean. Wash your hands, alcohol off your work surface, or at least make sure it's very clean. And then you're going to take your vial, and it's going to have a top on it like this. And I just take my thumb and I push it off. Sometimes they're hard to come off, so it just has a little snap sound. And then you have a rubber stopper at the top. Okay? The next step is opening your alcohol pad and taking that and wiping across the top of the vial one time, and then you have your vial. And I'm going to use a clear vial just for demonstration purposes so that you can see in the vial what you're doing. So the vial has the rubber stopper there, and you can see there's a little divot that goes all the way through. That's where you want your needle of your syringe to go so that you can get the solution out. If you push it to the side, you're going to be going into the rubber stopper and you're not going to be able to withdraw the medication. Okay? So I'm going to wipe this one off. And this is your syringe. So you have a 100 unit or 1 cc syringe. 100 units, 1 cc, and 1 ml are all the same unit of measure. So this one has the markings every 10 units. So for the Zepbound, you're going to be injecting 50 units. So right to the 50 unit mark. Okay? So you want to take the end off the syringe. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pull the plunger back to the 50 unit mark. So right back, there's a little line there, you want it right at the 50 unit mark. Okay? And then you take the cap off the needle. And what you want to do is you want to pull that back to the 50 units and pull back air, because you're going to be injecting this air into the vial to keep the pressure equalized. So you're not trying to pull against a vacuum. So then you take your vial and you take your needle right into the little circle on top. You stick that right down in there. Okay? And you take this and you depress the plunger all the way down in, and your needle is right in the middle, and it should push very easy. If you're not right in the middle, pull it back out and try again and push it right in the middle. And then I hold this with my 2 fingers like this, and then my ring finger and my thumb, I hold the syringe, so it's nice and steady, so I can pull on that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pull this back, and you can see the liquid is coming into the syringe. Okay, try to get my fingers all the way. So you pull this all the way back, and you're holding it so that the vial is up and the syringe is down. And you pull it back to the 50 unit mark, okay? And there's going to be a little bit of air at the top, if you can see it. So what you do is you push that air up, and the air should go out of it. So if there's still a little bubble in there, what you can do is tip it down and pull a little more air into the vial, and then twist it around, and that air bubble will gather the other air bubble, and then you can push it out. And there should be no air in your syringe. And make sure you're still at the 50 unit mark. So you pull it back, make sure you're right at the 50, and make sure there's no air. And then you pull this out, okay, set your vial down, and then I set my syringe down. I'm going to turn my camera here a little bit so you can see. And what you do is you take your stomach, a little bit here, you take your alcohol pad, wipe off your stomach, and let that dry, because if you don't let it dry, it'll sting a little bit. And then you take your syringe, and I like to pinch a tiny little bit of skin, then you inject it like that. You can let go, and then you push the plunger in all the way. Then you leave it there for up to 5 seconds to make sure it stays in there. Pull it out, and then discard your syringe. Now, you're not supposed to recap needles, but if you do need to recap your needle, what you do is you do what they call a one-handed method. So you put your cap here, and then one-handed you take it and you scoop it up like that. That way you're not poking yourself, and then you push it on. And then you discard this in a sharps container, which is sharps container is the red device that you can send back to a destruction facility. Or if you don't have a sharps container, you can use an empty laundry detergent bottle, a hard-sided laundry detergent bottle, and you'll have to ask your local health department or waste disposal department where you should dispose of that. I hope this helps. Thank you very much.